We're working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Temera, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region on today's headlines. National interest and security are the main reasons why President Rodrigo Duterte is taking a cautious stand on the Rectobank incident, where a Chinese vessel allegedly rammed and abandoned a Filipino fishing vessel, Malacanang said on Monday. Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha expressed the meeting's sorrow to Cambodia, where a building collapse on Saturday killed 17 people and injured 24 others. And Vietnam has culled 2.5 million pigs in the wake of a global epidemic that has spread across the agrarian nation in 5 months and threatens to impoverish farmers and raise consumer prices of pork locally. National interest and security are the main reasons why President Rodrigo Duterte is taking a cautious stand on the Rectobank incident, where a Chinese vessel allegedly rammed and abandoned a Filipino fishing vessel, Malacanang said on Monday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo made this comment following criticism coming from Vice President Leni Robredo and Senator Panfilo Lacson, who have both thumbed down a joint probe into the maritime incident by both the Philippine and Chinese authorities. Panelo said the president maintains friendly and trade relations with other countries, even those with adversarial claims. Lacson earlier said a joint probe between the Philippines and China on the maritime incident may be interpreted as a waiver of our right of ownership of the Rectobank. Lacson pointed out that the 2016 Hague ruling states that the Rectobank is part of the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. Robredo said a joint investigation does not guarantee that the truth will really come out. She said she preferred investigation conducted by a third party. Panelo stressed anew that Duterte's foreign policy is based on reason, not emotion. And I quote, "He is not swayed by hysterics of nitpicking nationalists who do not see anything good of what the president does," Panelo said. Panelo also pointed out that Duterte could not be reckless nor tentative as his critics want him to be. The president is cautious as he is pragmatic. He is a tactician as he is wise. He presses the right buttons at the right time, Panelo said. Panelo meanwhile said that President Duterte will continue to treat the Rectobank issue as a navigation incident. He vowed the protocol on the issue will be observed in accordance with international law or domestic law. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte thanked the Vietnamese fishermen who rescued Filipino fishermen who were allegedly abandoned near the Rectobank in the West Philippine Sea after being rammed by a Chinese vessel. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said Duterte brought this matter up during the 34th Association of Southeast Asians or ASEAN Summit in Bangkok, Thailand on Sunday, June 23rd. And I quote, "President Duterte took the occasion to thank the captain and crew of the Vietnamese fishing vessel who saved our fishermen near Rectobank, stating that this act of kindness and compassion will always be remembered by the Philippines and its people," Panelo said in a statement on Sunday, and I quote, "He expressed his sincere gratitude to Vietnam through Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc," he added. Amid criticisms that Duterte has taken a tame approach to China's aggression, Panelo said his remarks underscored that the President Duterte is not beholden to or afraid of any foreign country. He said that he is confident in articulating in clear and unequivocal terms the position of the Philippines as regards its interests before the global stage, Panelo said. Panelo also pointed that Duterte will always assert the country's sovereignty. Aside from thanking the Vietnamese fishermen, Duterte also expressed disappointment over the delay in the negotiations for a Code of Conduct or COC in the South China Sea. The chief executive explained that the longer the delay for an early conclusion of the COC, the higher the probability of maritime incidents happening and the greater the chance for miscalculations that may spiral out of control. President Rodrigo Duterte has called for the establishment of a facilitation center within the East ASEAN Growth Area or EAGA involving Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines, Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said. Panelo said the president made this push when he participated in the 13th BIMP EAGA summit held on the sidelines of the ASEAN 34th summit held on Sunday. He said in the meeting that Duterte called a reunion of old friends. The president said the facilitation center would be a fully functioning secretariat that would make the sub-regional cooperation bloc more responsive and resilient in view of the dynamism within the region. Panelo said the president also pushed for the realization of the regional food basket strategy to maximize each member country's economy. He said Duterte also batted for the development of the halal industry into a global industry and improve air linkages and sub-regional trade through the speedy adoption of a common standard in the operation of non-convention ships. Panelo said Duterte made these comments even as he wanted the shared borders secured from terrorism and illegal drugs through a deeper cooperation on maritime security. Panelo said the establishment of a barter system would be highly beneficial to countrymen residing in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And I quote, "The President's commitment to bring a comfortable and secured life for all Filipinos was apparent in all his talks with foreign leaders and heads of states. He also stressed the value of maintaining fairness in the dealings with other nations." In other news, Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha also expressed the meeting's sorrow to Cambodia, where a building collapsed on Saturday killed 17 people and injured 24 others.
In addition, in order to respond to emergencies and disasters, ASEAN, about a few days ago, Cambodia had an incident where a building collapsed, and we extend our condolences to the lives lost. So, to respond to disasters, ASEAN leaders launched the satellite warehouse under the Disaster Emergency Logistics System for ASEAN, or DELSA. And we have also included the ASEAN Center of Military Medicine as a subsidiary body under the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting in Annex 1 of the ASEAN Charter. Both centers are located in Thailand.
Cambodian rescuers continued to comb through the rubble of a collapsed 7-story building, where the bodies of 17 construction workers recovered and a further 24 pulled out injured. Workers said the unfinished building in the coastal city of Sihanoukville, which came down early Saturday, had doubled as their housing, with the crew spending nights on the second floor. Yumin, the governor of Preah Sihanouk province, said the building was owned by a Chinese investor who leased land for a condominium, one of many Chinese projects in the thriving beach resort. Provincial authorities said in a statement that 4 Chinese nationals involved in the construction have been detained while an investigation into the collapse is carried out.
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines.
Net25 shows live and on demand
Anytime, anywhere,
on any mobile device on OSN Play.
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Hi! I am Teacher Sally and this is Kid Kwento, one of Net25 Kids' online shows. Kid Kwento is now on TV. You can watch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Also watch Anong Sa Inyo with Ate DJ every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 to 4:30 p.m. Sa Kid Kwento, ang aming motto ay, Let's all read to succeed! Hooray! Kita-kita tayo ha! Bye-bye!
Welcome back. Leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations on Saturday formally declared a war against marine debris. Take a look.
ASEAN agreed to focus on the issue of marine debris, which has a widespread impact on the well-being, the health and hygiene of people, as well as on marine animals and resources. The summit, therefore, adopted the Bangkok Declaration on Combating Marine Debris in the ASEAN region, which demonstrates ASEAN's commitment to addressing the problem of marine debris in a serious and sustainable manner by supporting innovation and ideas, building capacity in research and the application of scientific knowledge, as well as encouraging the involvement of all stakeholders. And we had a comprehensive discussion on this matter.
Thailand, which is ASEAN chair this year, chose sustainability as its theme for this summit, with delegates getting recycled paper notebooks and tote bags. In his opening remarks, Thai PM Prayut Chan-o-cha said he hoped the theme will help ASEAN realize a people-centered community that leaves no one behind and looks to the future, as well as enhance the regional bloc's strategic value. In other news, a Malaysian case against Goldman Sachs on charges linked to the U.S. bank's role in the 1MDB scandal was postponed Monday until September after defense lawyers argued there was a problem with paperwork. Malaysia filed criminal charges against 3 units and 2 ex-employees of the Wall Street Titan in December, accusing them of giving false statements which led to the misappropriation of $2.7 billion in relation to bond issues for 1MDB. Allegations that huge sums were looted from the investment vehicle in a fraud that allegedly involved former Malaysian leader Najib Razak contributed to the last government's election defeat last year. At a procedural hearing in Kuala Lumpur on Monday, Goldman lawyer Hisham Tay Potek said the Hong Kong unit of the bank received its summons just last week, while the summons sent to the Singapore unit only included 3 out of 4 charges. The third Goldman unit in the case is based in London. He asked for 3 months to get further instructions from his clients, and the judge set September 30th for another procedural hearing. Prosecutor Aaron Paul Chelaya told reporters that the prosecution believed all documents had been properly served. And I quote, "Their clients have some reservations on whether they were properly served," he said. "Our position is they have been served." Goldman helped arrange bonds totaling $6.5 billion on 3 occasions for 1MDB, for which they earned fees said to be well above typical rates. Meanwhile, a strong earthquake struck Monday in Indonesia's Banda Sea, but authorities said there is no tsunami threat. The U.S. Geological Survey said the magnitude 7.3 quake was centered 208 kilometers, or 129 miles below the Earth's surface. It was felt in the parts of Indonesia and East Timor's capital, Dili, but there were no reports of damage. Indonesia's Geophysics Agency said the deep quake didn't cause a tsunami. The Banda Sea quake was recorded minutes after a 6.1 trembler in a thinly populated area 233 kilometers west of Papua's province, Abepura town, at a depth of 20 kilometers or 12 miles. Rama Triono, Indonesia's head of Earthquake and Tsunami Center, said the Papua quake was followed by several smaller aftershocks, but there is no immediate report of major damage or injuries.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. Vietnam has culled 2.5 million pigs in the wake of a global epidemic that has spread across the agrarian nation in 5 months and threatens to impoverish farmers and raise consumer prices of pork locally. The highly contagious African swine fever has infected pig herds in 56 of the country's 63 provinces after crossing the border from China in February. So far, Vietnam has culled 8% of its 30 million pigs, according to a report released Tuesday by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. This makes Vietnam the hardest hit country by the virus since reaching East Asia in 2018. There are about 2.4 million households with small-scale pig farms throughout the country. They are the major contributors to Vietnam's total herd of about 30 million pigs, an industry worth $18 billion, one of the world's largest. Authorities estimate 10 to 15% of Vietnam's herd will be lost, and this will cause pork shortages by the end of the year. The government failed to stop the virus at its northern border with China, despite precautionary protocols and assistance from the United Nations. The virus doesn't harm humans, but it is lethal and spreads quickly among pigs. Infection is not immediately apparent, and carriers can appear healthy for days before a fatal fever takes hold. By mid-May, the virus swept Vietnam's north and about 1.2 million pigs had died or been destroyed, about 5% of the country's 30 million pig herd.
We won't stop it by killing pigs. So I think